Hello again, and welcome to the fourth installment of Billy Boy Looks Back. Today I'm looking at The Meg, which is a Razzie-nominated movie. The Meg, it's only been nominated for one Razzie, which is Worst Prequel, Sequel, Remake, or Ripoff, basically saying that it ripped off Jaws. So I actually watched the movie. Did it rip off Jaws? Well, it definitely is in that genre, of a disaster movie about a giant killer shark. And, there's been a half a dozen other movies, probably more than that, like a dozen big-budget Hollywood movies in the last dozen years. I'm like, well, why not just make Jaws 5? But, Jaws 4 killed the franchise so much that we get all these other movies that are takeoffs on the whole idea. And some of them have been good. I mean, I saw Open Water. I haven't seen some of the really intentionally campy, horrible stuff like Sharknado. But, I did watch The Meg now because it's Razzie nominated, so let's take a look at where they went with this. So after seeing the movie, here's what's funny about it. I watched the movie and like half the cast is Chinese. There's all these random Chinese characters. I'm like, what's with all these Chinese people? Like the setting in China didn't make sense to me. After I saw the movie, I check online. It's a Chinese-American co-production, so it was basically funded by both countries. And I think that's an unfortunate trend in Hollywood. Is there's a lot of influence now because they're trying to market to China. They have 1 billion people. And it doesn't really work. Like, it doesn't make any sense why you have, like, random scenes of people speaking Chinese, except because it's marketed to a Chinese audience, You really can't... It's so different culture than the United States, and when we get random Chinese characters, like, what's up with that? It didn't really work organically to the film, I don't think. And I don't know if it works the same way in China, where they watch a movie where, like, half the characters are American. Like, okay, why is, we're seeing, like, a A-list Hollywood actor in the Chinese movie The Great Wall? It doesn't make sense. Here's the ironic part. Most of the characters in this movie are pretty lousy. The one good character I liked, the only one I liked, was a 7-year-old Chinese girl. She was the one likable, enjoyable character. Most of them are obnoxious and like you're supposed to feel sympathetic for these people. I don't. I'm glad the shark got him. So when your best character is a 7-year-old Chinese girl, there's something wrong with the movie. Now again, the same pattern with most of the movies I've seen that are Razzie nominated. I wouldn't say it's like the worst movie ever. There's probably been a lot of other movies, and the funny thing is, like, film studios like the Asylum that do zero-budget movies have probably made worse movies than this that are more entertaining because they're just so bad it's good. You can laugh at how ridiculous they are. This is a high-budgeted, slickly made movie, and it's frankly, it's boring. It's just not that good. The Meg, it's basically short for Megalodon. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. A prehistoric gigantic shark, and something the Asylum actually has already done this in some zero-budget movies that are probably more fun to watch this. I know one's got John Barrowman of Doctor Who famous before Doctor Who, and you can look it up online. I haven't seen the movie yet, but it looks more entertaining just because it's so bad, and this is more just bland and boring and stupid. So I didn't like it. I regret watching it. I probably wouldn't have watched it anyway if I hadn't been told myself I'm going to watch all the Razzie-nominated movies this year because I got to judge them. I watched some of the characters like Rainn Wilson. I kept seeing Harry Mudd because I saw him in Star Trek Discovery. I can't see him as his character. And most of my thoughts while watching this movie is, who actually did this and did it better was when they did the remake of Piranha called Piranha 3D. I finally watched that. And if you watch that I recommend that like 10 times more than this. That's not a good movie either, but that is 10 times more entertaining because what that did is it said, okay, well, we're obviously ripping off Jaws, so let's glorify that and just take it to the extreme. It's like Jaws on steroids. That movie should have been rated NC-17. It's rated R, and I'm watching this movie, and when I watched that film, I said, how the hell did you get away with an R rating? You're NC-17, the extreme level of violence. I've never seen a disaster movie that violent. People talk about Passion Christ violent. Ooh, it's so violent. No, that is violent. Piranha 3D is horrifically violent, but it's like got a relish in the violence. It's like Quentin Tarantino. It just throws in your face. I'm not going to give away some of the scenes, but if you want to entertaining, watch shock value, you want to be like glued to the edge of your seat just watching like a train wreck in slow motion, watch Piranha 3D. Don't watch The Meg. The Meg, like I said, it's pretty much a waste of time. The only redeeming factor I thought was the little Chinese girl. She was cute, and even her mom is not that good, or their grandfather in that movie. And it didn't work. They had no chemistry with the American actors. I don't see the point of this. And frankly, like the last 15 minutes of the movie, I'd say they kind of got to the point where they actually were ripping off Jaws, where there's a scene with beachgoers, and you see people floating underwater, you see bare feet, and the sharks are coming. I'm like, okay, this is a direct rip-off of Jaws. The rest of the movie, building up that point, really didn't work for me, and it's ironic because, like I said, I wouldn't say it's a direct rip-off of Jaws, but the part that was rip-off of Jaws is probably the only scene that was really worth watching. It was just colossal waste of time. And the movie, same thing. It seems to drag on forever. I don't recommend it. I don't know if I'll give it a Razzie, but I can't justify why this movie exists. Apparently, it's based on a 1997 book called Meg, Novel of Deep Terror, which I hope is better than the film adaptation. The thing, it just seems to be cashing the whole thing. Like, everybody wants to keep making money off disastrous Jaws movies, but nobody actually wants to continue Jaws. And after I saw that whole parody on YouTube where they did like Jaws 19 from Back to the Future 2, what would happen if there actually were 19 more Jaws movies? And if you ever watch that trailer, it's hilarious because they do. This is the pattern Hollywood would follow if they made 19 Jaws movies. You know, there would have been, Jaws in space and Jaws versus Robo Jaws, and then there would have been a reboot of Jaws and a prequel, a sequel to the prequel. You know, the reboot in Jaws 18. This is the sequel to the reboot. That I would have watched. If there had been 19 Jaws movies, they'd probably would be 10 times more entertaining than this movie. I don't recommend it. It's just a waste of time. But is it the worst movie ever? Is it the worst shark movie ever? No, it's just lousy and disappointing. So that's my take on the Meg, and this is BillyBoy signing off.